Hey everyone, if you guys like the content, go and subscribe to the channel, click the bell notifications, and give the video a like or share. Welcome to the listening room. My name is Eddie Booze. Great to see all of you guys. Dylan, Joel, Shishisha. Wonderful to see all of you guys today. Thank you for joining me on the listening room. My name is Eddie Booze. And as always, my co-host, Miss Daisy, back there on the couch, hanging out, smiling. Today, I'd like to introduce my guest for today, a man of many talents. This is a gentleman who's been a makeup artist, a stunt man. He's done acting work and production work of all kinds on film and television. He's worked on Swamp Thing. He's worked on Greek and tons more shows. Let's have him come on out and tell us much more about that. Mr. Joel David Reed, how are you today?
Good evening. I am blessed, dude. I'm doing really good. Despite everything going on in the world, despite everything, the stresses of everyday life and whatever that, I'm really good. Despite it all, it's really good,
Excellent, brother. Excellent. Well, I like to start my show off every day, just like I like to kind of start my day off, actually, with a little bit of gratitude. So I like to acknowledge something I'm grateful for today. I want to say I'm so happy and grateful that I have transportation. That I have a car that runs, because that allows me the freedom to move around, get around, to see my father, to see, family members, to do what's necessary, get groceries, and live my life with that type of freedom. So today I'm so happy and grateful for the transportation that I have, for the car that I have, for the one wheel that I have, for my legs. Never take any of it for granted, and I'm happy and grateful for it every day, and today that's my gratitude. Mr. Joel David Reed, why don't you go ahead and tell us something you're grateful for today?
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. Health, the ability, because I know right now, especially, resources are low, and the ability to, the convenience that some of us have is a real blessing. I gotta also say, the fact that my family and my loved ones are well, at the end of the day, I don't really care if I'm hurting as long as my loved ones are okay. And, and I know they would really disagree with that sentiment, but I'm very, just so grateful that my loved ones are doing well, and that, even, my family members that are in the medical industry, they're really, they're holding it down, and they're still healthy, and that's a lot. So
Awesome,
yeah.
my brother. That's great. That's fantastic, dude. I always like that one. Constantly on the show, because I do this every day. I do this on the show every day, where I like to acknowledge a little gratitude. And there's been many days where I've acknowledged my brother, my mother, my dog, my family, and I'll always have respect for that love, that gratitude for family. And that appreciation.
It's not. Let me add this. It's not just the family, and it's the sense of community that the world that we live in now is learning to adapt back to. Because, like, for example, my parents have a large freezer that they store meat in, and they started just giving stuff to me, and I had so much that I literally had knocked on my neighbors' doors and hey, do y'all need any food? I just got a whole load dropped on me, and more than I can store. And
sure,
literally, we were so blessed, just visibly whoa, what? And it's that kind of sense of community of, I have friends reaching out to me that's, or like, hey, if you need anything, let me know. And I'm like, yes, likewise. And, we're finding that kind of community. I mean, I really want to say over the past 20, 30 years, we've kind of lost with our neighbors. And I think as a society that has come back. And I really hope it stays even after this, plague passes over.
You know,
I'm really grateful for that, that mindset.
yeah, you're right about a couple things. It's funny. Like, I have noticed quite a bit that the neighbors are just kind of coming out of the woodwork with food and toilet paper and water randomly for each other. And it's not just like my neighborhood. I've noticed a couple of friends of mine I've been talking to said the same thing. We're like, yeah, like my neighbor like just brought me by like an 18 pack of toilet paper the other day, like for no reason. It's like, so there's a lot of that going around right now. There's a lot of that going around right now. I don't think it really like ever left. But here's the thing: is like we get caught up in our own lives. People forget to, go knock on their neighbor's door and say hi and see how they're doing. And it's a lot. It's kind of a lost thing, I mean, and you're right. Like you said, we may be returning to that kind of a vibe and that kind of an energy where, kind of a more of a connection with the people around you, stronger connection, with those around you, which is an excellent vibe to be, to adapt to be able to evolve in, so I totally dig that. And I totally agree with you on that, on that aspect. So, but yeah, and, speaking of gratitude, like we're talking about today, I always like to say this. I always like to say on my show, and I always like to remind myself that it's imperative to be active in your own mental and emotional health.
Oh, yeah.
And
jeez,
when you're consciously acknowledging the things that you're grateful for, when you're consciously celebrating the things that you're grateful for, what that does is that keeps you active in your mental and emotional health. Not saying you have it all figured out. I'm not saying it's the cure-all key to everything. But you know what? If you continue to be consistent in it, it can be a large key to keeping yourself down a path of positivity, or feeling an overall sense of charge, like having more charge over your mental and emotional health, and control over that. When you know where center is, when you get removed from it, it's a lot easier to go back there once you're familiar with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's in our best interest, all of us, and it's something I work on every day, is being active in my own mental and emotional health, and concentrating and celebrating and just saying and writing down the things I'm grateful for is one of those big things. And I invite everyone out there in the audience to do that as well. I invite you guys all to go ahead and write down something you're grateful for, say it out loud, do whatever you have to do. That's awesome. So Lee Keyburn in there. That's Ray. And Nitro Reviews says this: I've had a great connection with my neighborhood as well. Everyone is offering help and looking out for each other. My one neighbor even offered me some of their old laying hens. That's awesome, dude. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of that is happening, and you notice that if you look around too, like digitally, people are doing a lot of this. They're connecting with other people in this way because you can't, they're limited in, at the moment, maybe not for long, hopefully not for long, in getting out and doing what they need to do. And so I think a lot of people are embracing this and coming through for others, or doing, whatever's necessary to still communicate with and connect with, their communities and their people and their families and their fans and their whoever it may be, to get out there, and just stay consistent in reaching out and staying connected with all these people, with those that are closest to you.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of funny too. What's been going on is like, and maybe this is just in my experience right now, that it's not the people that I expected to be reaching out to me.
Sure.
I have people that I'm like, oh, come hell or high water, these guys, I know. And it's like, I've noticed some people those people aren't reaching out like I thought they would, but I have other people that are like, that I did not even realize kept an eye on me.
Right.
And I'm like, I need to shift my focus now. I really
wonder.
Yeah.
You saying that, it begs a question. I wonder if those people were just always there for you, just strongly, and just that you just didn't realize it. Your perception
That's what it is.
wasn't,
That really
and I think that's what a lot of people need to realize is that their neighbors are there for them. Like dude, like I've always said this. Like you go outside and walk around and you take the social temperature, and it's warm. People literally love each other. Like they legitimately care about each other, And I've always had this theory that the reason people are upset with each other for for whatever political arguments that they may have, or oh, this person doesn't believe the same thing as me, is because it literally comes from a deep rooted place of actually love. So and hear me out here. So I believe that people in society love each other so much, but everyone has different opinions on how best the world should be run, and I don't want to knock somebody because they have a different opinion than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but when you hear these people arguing with each other, I think it really comes from a place of love, because they want the best for their neighbor, and they want them to understand that what they believe is the best is the best. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's this kind of convoluted circle of like, you know what I mean? Like, whereas if people were just like to say, like, step back and say, dude, like, look, we all want the best thing for society. Like, but, we all just have different ideas of how to get to that point of the best next generation for our children and next generation for our grandchildren. You know what I'm saying? So I really do think it comes out of a deep rooted place of love. Let's check. Let me.
I'm blanking on his name at the moment, but the lead singer of the Eagles wrote this song called "Hole in the World," and I think it's like with the first verse, it says, "Some say that anger is just love disappointed," and I'm like, that
legit. That literally says it all. I love that. That is
love disappointed.
It's like awesome, dude. That's awesome. Let's check in with Miss Daisy and see what she thinks. Miss Daisy, what do you think?
He's doing well.
All right, you guys. So now that we've checked in with Miss Daisy, let's go ahead and listen to the song that we're going to do today. So our song for the day is called Play the Game. It's something I wrote in 2009. I wrote this song and a couple others in this genre. It's kind of a weird rock. I don't know. Like with what was coming out at the time, I was just trying to write. I was trying to write something chill.
Okay.
That was kind of like with the times, but also like has my like touch and my edge to it. So let's go ahead and all take a listen to Play the Game. And Joel, you go ahead and put your headphones on and let's knock this out and take a listen and see what you think.
This is good, dude.
All right, we're back. Mr. Joel David Reed with us today. The song Play the Game. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, you guys. So that song is completely different than a lot of the stuff that you've heard me do. You know what I mean? It's like I said, it's a little bit more dancey, I guess you could say. I'm not really sure what you'd call it.
That reminded me of, you remember like Kill Hannah?
No.
I think that was named. Oh man, they had this kind of electro flair, very like kind of that 2005 through 10, well no, 5 through like 7 or 9, kind of where it was like rock, but it was still electro.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So there was a lot of that going. There was a lot of that going around back then.
Yeah. But it's very, that bass line's funky, dude. It was very dancey.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun to play. You know what, dude? One of the funnest bass lines I've done was I recently did a punk rock version of the Saved by the Bell theme song, and I played a bass line on that like. Dude, like I've never been more proud of my bass playing, to be honest with you. I was like, oh shit, like it's pretty good, you know. So Miss Daisy, what'd you think of that song, Miss Daisy?
She's just happy to be here.
I know, she's awesome, dude. It's great to have you today. Okay, so now that we've been through some gratitude, we've been through the song. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the stuff that you've been up to and kind of what you do and who you are. So Joel, like I said earlier, has worked on multiple television shows, feature films. And let's go ahead, actually, and why don't you go ahead and list off some of your credits so everybody kind of knows, you know, what some of the things you've done.
As an actor, I mean, on TV, I did more like featured background stuff. But that's really like right out of high school. That's where I really kind of cut my teeth in the film industry. I was a regular occurring like feature background character on the show Greek. It was ABC Family's show about like fraternity life. And yeah, I was a Capitao on that show, and
cool.
It was really fun because that was like, I worked on that show for 4 seasons. No. Yeah, like I came in the second half of the first season, and it was for the Great Gatsby party, and they just kept me on. I worked like 3 days in a row, and one of the PAs who's in charge of the background, like, this is your 3rd day here, isn't it? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, aren't you the DJ for the party? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, here, put the shirt on. And he just threw me one of the Capitao shirts.
Nice.
Okay. I think that was the first time I like really felt like, oh, someone just like actually gave me a leg up in the industry. That was fun.
That's cool. That's cool.
And through that, you know, I was with Sandy Alisi Casting. I don't really know if they're still around, but they did a lot of stuff. I did background on, was on like a roller disco episode of Glee. You know, I don't know if that constitutes as stunts or choreography or whatever, but I was on roller skates for 16 hours, so that's fun.
Nice.
But yeah, that was a really fun show. I was on that a couple of episodes. Very talented cast. Yeah, very talented cast.
So you have a lot of credits to your name under acting, a lot of credits to your name with stunts, and you're a musician as well. Actually, you're a really good musician, and I'd like to do have you on as a musical guest here one of these Fridays. I have a musical guest every Friday. Sometime soon. I'd love that. And then also, you're also, and this is one of your main things in film is you're a makeup artist, and you're a damn fine makeup artist as well, if I might add. Joel has done makeup on multiple endeavors that I've done. Joel has first AD'd something that I directed. Joel has done, makeup on the first feature film that I wrote, Killer Inside, which we'll show you guys a trailer of here tonight. Joel also did makeup on 50K and just tons of different things, including DC's Swamp Thing. Is that correct?
Okay, I didn't work on set. Let me start there. No, I actually worked in the lab with Fractured Effects. I worked in the fabrication department. I also kind of helped out a little bit of the painting department. So I was working kind of in that weird magic spot with Makeup Union and Wardrobe Union.
Okay.
I worked on the Swamp Thing suit. I worked on the Blue Devil suit, and I very, very briefly worked on the Floronic Man suit, which didn't really get the reveal anyone was expecting. I think that's all I'm legally allowed to say. The pictures of me working have not been released. I haven't been emailed with any pictures of me working, and I know there's a whole documentary being edited about that.
Oh, man, very cool.
Amazing project, though. Amazing. I have worked with people. Let me just say this one funny story from that. I'm working in the lab with people who have worked on like 30-year union guys, and these, my superior and then another team lead that also works on Westworld and Swamp Thing and a ton of other stuff. He's in that lab. They're talking about all of these John Carpenter films and going on about different effects and different shots and I'm just like, oh, I love that one. Oh, this and this and Joe, the guy who's been in 30 years in the union, just kind of like, it's great, isn't it? And then he just goes back to, he's just kind of a no BS, but also he's like really very charismatic, but they're just talking about this all the time or for like half the day. And finally I realize I keep chiming in like about what shot I loved or what effect I loved. These are John Carpenter films. They're some of my favorite. But then I realized they're not talking about their favorite John Carpenter films. They're talking about all the John Carpenter films they worked on.
Nice. So, so the thing and
this thing over here and shut my mouth. Right. That's really how I felt.
That's funny. That's cool.
Really, just one of those like, oh, that was a very real life moment I think there. But sure. I mean, I also worked on there's like it's supposed to be pitched to HBO. Last I checked, it was like kind of like a combination of a pilot and a sizzle reel for Badland Wives, and it's basically like all the famous like Old West outlaws kind of and gunslingers, but it's their wives, and it's kind of a really cool,
interesting, interesting concept.
Yeah, very cool concept. And what else? There's can't really talk too much about this either, but I can say this. I had my hand on at least the background zombies of it's Army of the Dead. So Zack Snyder licensed the
I saw that in the pictures we're gonna go over here. In fact, let's go ahead and go through some of these pictures here because I think that's gonna explain a lot of what you're talking about right here. So we're gonna check out a couple of pictures of some of the stuff that Joel's done, some of the makeup work that he's done, and kind of see how cool this industry is and how much fun and how artistic you can actually get working in cinema. Here we go. Let's check out some of this stuff. Here we go. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and bring up the first. All right, you guys. Let's go ahead and bring up the first reel here. So this is a movie called 50K. I actually scored this film. Actually, it's available now to view on. You know what app? You know what app it's on, Joel?
I don't. I haven't heard too much about it.
It's released. I spoke with Pat the other day. It's out for viewing, and I can't remember what app it's on. But if you check this out. Filmed by Mark Martinez, 50K. My good friend Patrick Thomas is he produced this film, and my good friend Mr. Kent Harper as well was the lead in this. And Joel did the makeup on this film. So if you guys see all the blood on the cover on his face, that's Joel's work right there. Let's go ahead and pop through some of these pictures, and why don't you let us know what some of these pictures are all about?
Can you bring the on the other screen for me?
I can totally do that, brother. Yeah, right, here we go.
Hit a wrong button or something, but this was a cool one. I actually had my very dear friend, amazing makeup artist. She's fantastic. Alicia Norberg also helped me on this project.
So you did this makeup. You did this. Is this a burn or is this a zombie?
Well, okay, so the project's called Confessions of a Teenage Satanist, and it's kind of a blatant ripoff of The Exorcist, but it was also, It was fun. It was a fun project to be on. I was there.
It looks
But
fun.
the holy water got splashed on him, and it shows like this burning effect.
Oh,
And
well,
that
that's kind of cool. Okay, I can dig that. Okay, let's go ahead and check some more out. So
He's,
this is a dope shot. I love this shot right here. What's this from?
that's from the Badland Wives. I cannot remember this little actress's makeup or the name. I'm sorry, I did her makeup. I can't remember this little actress's name, but she's very, very talented. She was like, yeah, but so she was kind of like found like in the river kind of thing, but then like she kind of comes back, and there's maybe like some supernatural stuff to go on with it. I don't really want to get. I can't.
Yeah,
get
no,
into
no,
it.
no, no, for sure. Let's not get too deep into these. There's quite a few to show, so let's check this.
And I believe it's been released, and so I can talk about some things. I just not sure about what everything. But yeah, this was from the Badland Wives. This is like
Right.
kind of this little character. Very, very cool. Very, very interesting.
Right on, man. Well, let's not. Like I said,
Yeah.
let's not get too deep into each of these. There's quite a few to show, so let's go ahead and move through some of them, okay? All right. So this is obviously the poster for the Zack Snyder thing.
Yeah.
Did you work on this?
I worked in the lab.
That's right, with the guys from Swamp Thing. That's right.
Yeah, with almost identical crew that I worked with. Again, that sweet spot between makeup and wardrobe, and we really. We had a quota, and we somehow did it. That's all I can say. Swamp Thing, just I already loved the character as a DC fan, so that was great.
Totally. So what are these pictures from this photo shoot here?
This is for my friend's guitar company, Minaret Guitars.
Minaret Guitars, that's right.
I have a few. That was a kind of a last-minute photo shoot that I needed to throw together for his catalogs one year for NAMM.
A couple of people I know have some Minaret guitars. They're pretty awesome guitars. Top notch.
Price, yeah, they're great. I can't talk more highly about them.
All right,
that was a fun little Christmas thing, yeah. This was a student project. I worked for Chapman University for almost 7 years straight, and it was a blast. I mean, every weekend I was on a different project, and I mean, I was talking to some of the people at Fractured Effects or in Synapse Effects, or my friends at Pink Mist Effects. They're all like, bro, if you're working every week, like, it doesn't matter how much or how little you're getting paid, like, you're getting experience and credit, and that's something money can't buy.
What's this?
Oh man, this was a weird post-apocalyptic sci-fi thing. I just got called in to fabricate the body that was supposed to be mauled by some kind of monster.
So
and it was
how do you make something like this?
Honestly, I bought a skeleton from a Halloween store and just started. I got out silicone. I got out, there's latex, airbrush stuff. There's so many different layers of build on top of just a generic skeleton. And I mean, you can also, if you want to do it with latex and paper towels, that's really easy. Another really cool thing you can do is if you go to a hardware store, just get some of that insulating foam, the great stuff insulating foam. You just put on gloves and put on a respirator. Do that, but you just spray it all over it, and then you just take your hand with the gloves and just smear it, and then it'll just kind of bubble up in weird places while it's still setting up, and just let it sit like that, and you can get some really cool effects.
Interesting. That's cool. Okay, let's go ahead and go through here. So, that's kind of cool. That's really cool. So, how did you get that effect?
This was for a very awesome friend of mine, Celine Hoppe. Her thesis film, they needed a full embalming scene, and we made a fake torso and a fake skin, and there's a shot where we had a hand double with a real blade slice open the skin, and blood just pours out of the chest, and then you see the actress reach in and start pulling organs out. This is one of my favorite shots of just, you can see a little bit of everything's going on, and that is an actual person's head right there. That's an actual person's face.
So you had the actual effect.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. That's really cool.
It lays on top of it, and she could still reach in and grab organs. It was very visceral and fun. This was for Chompy and the Girls. That's for Sinister Point. Yeah, that's man, that was a great thing. Sinister Point, that's my buddy Rick. Oh, this was for Dead Husbands Club with the zombie. That was a body painting. That's all liquid latex.
Oh, this
And
is
that was
you. Here we go. That's you and Timmy.
that's me and Tim. Yeah, that was for a really cool little. It was like a bar full of aliens kind of project.
All right.
That's Paul Cosmala right there.
I can see that. That's Paul Cos.
Yeah,
So
dude.
Paul is actually the. Let's go back for a sec. Okay, so Tim, the guy on the left here, which you guys are seeing, he is the director of the feature film that I wrote. He's one of our, he's an amazing friend, one of my best friends. I absolutely loved him. Wonderful, wonderful person. Can't say enough about his absolute skill, and I'm going to have him on the show very soon to showcase a lot of his talent and some of the stuff that he's been doing as well. So can't wait to have him on as well. As you can see, him and Joel are nice and close, buddy.
Yeah, we are. He's my brother, dude.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what. At the end of the day, that's my brother.
Absolutely,
and,
my man. So we got Paul. We got there's Tim again.
Yep, there's Tim.
What is that?
It's funny. Friends get thrown to the wolves with the makeup. More Dead Husbands Club.
That's a good one.
That I was working on. That was a very early on project. Oh man, this was from Maple Vision. This is an amazing director. My friend Logan. She wrote this awesome weird post-apocalyptic kind of like a documentary, sort of like The Office, but thing. But that was a fun project.
Nice.
That was from High Desert Hell. That was a really fun fun project. This dude got ran over by a car.
Right. Okay. So where can
cards? That was from Blue. This was a project called Blue. It was another Chapman project, and I was wardrobe designer and makeup designer for. They let me run wild. That actress is fantastic, just amazing. I can't speak highly enough about her. She's
that's
yeah,
awesome, dude. And that's a really cool effect. I love that pic right there.
Yeah, that's all with latex. There's a model named Taylor Jewell. She's and Paul Koss photography, but there's all liquid latex that we put, and she reached under it and started to peel it away, and it's a wild effect. That's
dude,
actually
what a picture, man. That's cool as hell, dude.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. Paul got me into that whole just weird trippy body art like that.
I remember when Paul was doing that and you guys started doing that together. I remember. Some of these are really cool pics, dude. I dig that one right there a lot, dude.
Oh, thank you. The zombie one?
The zombie one, yeah.
Yeah, that's my friend Sammy. That was her first photo shoot, and we took care of her. Of course, all that latex she was not happy about, but
sure, can imagine.
It was cool. That was a music video. I cannot remember the name. Oh, that was, dude. That was for Intrepid. It was like a.
This looks really interesting.
It was like, imagine if like Scrubs and Harry Potter had a crossover, and that's it was basically their friend Alexa Tuttle's thesis was the pilot episode of
Scrubs and Harry Potter.
Yeah, and
that's pretty funny,
dude. She's already got it. Don't mess with it. You gotta warn people nowadays.
All right. So now we got. That's a pretty cool shot. You do the makeup there.
I did. I just wish my buddy happy birthday on this. Evan Cooper and his wife Jen Cooper, they were student films. She was a producer, he was a director, and they worked together, and it was really cool project. Very cool project.
Cool.
I think the best thing I can do is bruises. Honestly.
Right.
There's Tim again. Oh, there's from Intrepid. Me setting that beard. That beard was not his. I forget.
That's cool. That's cool. What?
That is from Stompy and the Girls. Me and Tim sculpted that. Also, my buddy Brandon threw in a hand, and that was. So there's 3D markers all over it because they're going to go in CG to make movement, but they wanted something. They wanted the mouth bigger, and I said, "Dude, we cannot make that any bigger. It's gonna look." I told them this is gonna be as cartoony as. This is going to be super cartoony. And they're like, no, that's okay. I'm like, all right, but if it looks like Slimer, don't get mad at me. And I don't think it looks totally like Slimer, but that's really
pretty funny, dude. If it looks like Slimer, don't get. I didn't make that connection when I first saw it either. I love the pic though.
I still have the mold. I want to cosplay Slimer. Just wear a black suit and just have all that because it would just.
Right.
work, but I mean, I didn't really pull from that as much as I did from Tim's concept art, but the concept art looked like something out of like heavy metal or something. It was wild. It's what they wanted. It's cool. I loved it. I loved the project. The director had a wild vision and I was all for it. Oh, this is some more of my haunt stuff. Some buddy Tim, another buddy Tim. I was really happy with this. This is for Sinister Point. This was for, and you can check it out, the head. Okay, so that was actually for a project on YouTube called the channel called Almost Cool, and the project called Conspiracy Party. And I had to literally make a like Mission Impossible style mask for the guy to tear off of his own face.
That's cool.
And so that is a man, Heston Horwin. Heston Horwey. He's one of the producers on Almost Cool, and that was done in, I want to say, like a couple of days of work, of just from life cast to finished product. I think it was like, I was really proud of that. Because we didn't even get to correct it. So here's another thing.
It looks really good, dude. It looks really, really good for a couple of days.
That's actually just pulled from a raw life cast. I didn't even have time to correct it and get air bubbles out. I just had to like paint eyebrows on, paint stubble on, and I'm very proud of that.
I love it, dude.
Thank you very much. That was one of the projects. That was one of those projects. I'm like, ooh, this is good. Hey, 50K. Okay, that project. I also had help from Emily Jacobson on. This. Okay, this is called Before the Thunder, and that is Keita Rush or Keita Maggette. She is actually a professional wrestler and amazing actress. They shot this fight scene for 9 hours, and
really?
this shot right here was at around a 5-hour mark, and I had to pick up so hard. But I honestly, I was so impressed. Tina Marks and Keita Maggette, or Keita Rush is her wrestling persona, fought for 9 hours. Oh, wow. Didn't know we could show that on YouTube. It is blurred out, though. It is blurred out.
Blurred out.
That's my friend Taylor again. That was kind of a photo shoot that it was called like.
Dude, that's great art, man. You do great work, Joel.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, this is Caitlin, Caitlin. I cannot pronounce the name at the moment. But anyway, she is in charge of the burlesque troupe Dirty Little Secrets in Long Beach.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them. They're over on Pine.
This was actually a mermaid photo shoot I did with her, I think, years and years ago, before she was doing like mermaid shoots with a tail. She didn't even have a tail in this. They like photoshopped it on in post. But I really love that shot. It's just so vibrant. And this was for a photography class.
Nice, very cool. So I assume you worked on Steam Wrecked?
Yeah, you can see that on. I was makeup designer, and also I was the armor designer. Like all the leather pieces on them, I designed, and I co-designed with Cameron Rowan. But you can actually see this on Amazon Prime Video.
Very cool.
It's like it's short, but it's fun. It's like kind of like a steampunk version of the Revenant-ish.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, that's.
There goes some of your.
All I did was like put leaves on the suit and help paint it. I did all my work, but Derek Mears is
very cool, brother. I dig it, my man. I dig it. Okay, so check this out. Okay, so I love them. Okay, so Joel and I have worked on a number of things together, and I tried to show this video before, and it wouldn't play. I think I pulled in too big of a file, but today we're going to show you guys the trailer for The Killer Inside. This is the feature film that I wrote, and Joel did the makeup for, and Joel actually was actually a producer on this film as well. So let's go ahead and check out the trailer for Killer Inside. Right here. This is where I lost control. I know that hell is waiting for me with open arms.
that woman.
Yes, I did.
Why?
Because I couldn't kill you.
Yeah, dude.
That was the trailer for Killer Inside. That was super fun to shoot. So Tim Cruise, the guy you saw earlier, was the director of that. Joel did the makeup on that film, and as you saw, there was a lot of makeup to do on the film. Actually, I remember the scene that you saw in the trailer with me with the wrench and me coming down with the wrench and like essentially killing that character. When I did that, we had we first tried it like this. We had like a sponge that we had filled with fake blood, and that I was like hitting, and we're hoping that it would like make the actual the splatter, so I'd hit the sponge and the blood would go, but that didn't work out too well. It was just given like little tiny like sprays. And so we had to have Joel like sit down like off screen with a
giant chip brush.
You had a paintbrush, and you were like dipping it, and every time I would come down with the thing, you would like throw a line of it on the mirror, So I would come down with the wrench, and you go, that
wrench was like here.
I know.
You were so in character, and I was like, okay, I know Eddie's not gonna hit me.
Of course.
But character effing will. I was like, because you're so good, and when you get in character, it is like there is a noticeable difference in the way you stand, in the way everything. So it's like I'm just like, okay, I know Eddie's not gonna hurt me, but he will.
But Dawson might, right? That's
so
funny.
I was like, still, and there was like I think we only did like 2 takes of that. And it was
Dude, we only did a couple, yeah. Okay, so one of the coolest things that ever happened while I was filming with you, and this is something I'm super proud of. By the way, my buddy Ray is in the comment section. He actually played one of the officers in the movie, actually, and it was funny because every time in the film that you're on screen, you tell Badass, hey, let's go, I'm hungry, I want to get some food. Yeah, like that's like every line you have in the movie essentially is like, dude, let's go, forget about this guy, I'm hungry, let's go eat. But no, Ray and Badass, the rapper that was close with Snoop Dogg, he actually was in the film as well. He played one of the deputies that was kind of after the killer, and this guy, my buddy Ray, was his partner in the film as well. So that was super fun. But one of the coolest things I've ever seen you do, and like this was like a very fun experience when we shot this, but there was the very first thing I ever directed is called All Sales Are Final. So and it's a story about this guy who's selling this house to this guy, and he's telling the new buyer the story of how the previous owner killed himself. And there's one part in the film where it comes to the very end of the climax of the movie where the night where the guy dies, and there's a part where the guy is writing down this stuff in this book frantically, and he started to like bleed from his nose, and like we
have a hose hidden down his forehead.
Yeah, we shot it at an angle like coming down like this, and the guy. Yeah. So we shot it like looking down on the guy from the side, and then,
I only have a syringe this big.
And then the guy had his head down like this. So imagine the camera being like up here, facing down. So we had the tube in the nose, like down on that side of the nose like that, right? And then we had this giant syringe full of fake blood. So we could only do this. We could literally only do this take one time because
we're gonna ruin the book. We're gonna ruin the book,
because we were gonna ruin the book, and we didn't have enough blood. We were out of blood. We were actually out of blood. Like that was like it. Like that was like all we had. And you filled the syringe with blood. And at the very end, dude, it was awesome, dude. Like I remember I was actually operating camera at this point, and I remember like coming in. Maybe I wasn't. Maybe I was standing next to Dewan. I can't remember, but I was like Because the shot was MOS, and and in a shot that's labeled MOS, that means there's no sound. That means they weren't recording sound. That means it's a silent shot that's gonna have music over it or whatever.
Only sync,
right?
Or mixer out one of the other.
There you go. And so that shot. Okay, so we're coming in with it, and I'm giving Kevin, the main character, direction as I'm shooting. So I'm telling him like write faster, like flip the pages, like get more frantic, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm starting to I'm telling him to get do this, do that, do this, and just as the shot is coming into like its finality, the blood runs out. There's literally no more blood in the syringe, and I had no idea. I had no clue that this was happening, and all I said was, and I'm like, and Joel had no more blood, and like you could see it like poured out all over the book, and the guy's writing in the book, and the blood's pouring out of this thing, and you could see it was like started to drip, like it was almost out. And I told Joel, like, I need more blood, like give me the last bit, like give me whatever you got. And Joel takes the syringe, like pinches the syringe, takes it off the tube, blows the rest of the blood out in perfect time to the rest of the shot as the camera is moving in towards that towards that actual like action point. And I couldn't have asked for a better on demand action shot from Joel. Killed it. The makeup actually made the shot what it was, and you watch that shot, and every time I see that shot, I'm like super excited because you killed it there, and it just made that, like I said, it brings that climax of that short really to a nice close. So, but no, you're really good at what you do, Joel. You really are, man. And
I remember. See, that was the second thing we filmed. I remember the first thing we filmed. That was the
first thing I directed. The very first thing we ever filmed was the very first thing that I ever wrote. And Dan Ringy directed that, and he was actually the first AD on that film with Forrest Whitaker not too long ago. What's it called? Burden. And then he's done a ton of stuff for Netflix as well, and Lifetime as well. Dan's a great director, and he directed the first thing Joel and I ever met on. It was super fun to shoot, and
I love this. So my sister's an actress. Hold on, I got to tell this story because it's just too great. My sister is an actress, and she says, "Hey, I'm working on this project with this director and producer and writer. He's really awesome, and he needs a makeup artist." So
it was Justine, right?
My other sister and I, yeah. So my other sister, Justine was acting, and Jordan and I did makeup, and I've never met him. Did not know who I'm talking to.
Right.
All I ever got was 1 or 2 emails from Boost Productions. That's all I knew, and I didn't know that was your last name. I didn't know anything.
Right.
I just Eddie from Boost Productions, and okay, cool. And we get there, and you're in wardrobe of that opening scene, which is Eddie literally in his chonies walks out into the living room because I'm like, "Is this the right house?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, you're in the right house." I'm like, "Cool. I'm here for Eddie. Oh, he's getting into wardrobe. He'll be right out." And
come out in my underwear.
Kevin got you. Hey, the makeup artist's here, and you're like, "Hey!" And you just walk up, give him one of these bone-crushing hugs that you give. You give these just
I'm all in my underwear, just like grab you. That was hilarious.
Yep, this is an actor. No shit.
That's hilarious, dude. No, dude, I had so much fun shooting that. When there's a fun story about that. When I got together with Dan on that, and I wrote that. I sent it to Dan, and he read it, and he goes, this is good. He goes, but it's not a script. It's for a film. It's a play. Because I didn't know how to format a script. And he goes, go to Celtics.com and download the software and then write it as a script. So I did that. I brought it back to Dan. I said, are you working right now? He said, no. I said, let's direct this thing. I said, let's shoot this thing. He said, sure. He goes, it's going to take like 6 months to like pre-produce. And I was like, I want to shoot this thing in like 3 weeks. He was like, can't be done. I was like, what needs to be done? And so we write this list, like, props, like food, like we just get all this. We need to have cast. We need to have this. We need to get casting. Like we need to do all this stuff, And I was like, I'll have it done like a couple days, I called him a couple days later, and I was like, hey, show up at my house next week for a casting session. And he goes, okay. And he shows up at my house, and there's like 40 people in my living room with scripts in their hands, all getting ready to read for characters, you know? And he's like, he looks at me like, he's like, how the fuck did you get all these people here? And I'm like, just put the word out that we were shooting something, you know what I mean? He was like, dude, let's do this. So,
hey, I'm making a movie, and actors will just appear. They will. And that's something that we're good at. We'll like, what? Someone needs work?
right.
You know?
Yeah, and you know, actors want to work, you know, and you know, actors want to work on things that they know are going to get seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this show that we're talking about, that Dan directed the first episode, I directed the second, Tim directed the third. You know, we've shot 4 of 6 of the first 6. I have 47 different treatments for different episodes now. So
this dude, a short film in a day, like every day he could write a new short film,
I appreciate
and it would
that.
be a great concept. This dude is
Thanks, Joel.
fast and furious and just fun, you know. He's
I love you too,
I mean-
man. That's awesome, dude. I appreciate the kind words, my brother. Thank you. Yeah, I do tend to write fairly fast. I tend to get tunnel visioned in my work, so when I start on a project, I tend to just like zone out on it, like not do anything but that until it's done, or until I'm, you know, somewhat happy with it, you know, and then I can at least take a break. But yeah, man, it's been super fun shooting this stuff with you. And one day I remember Tim called me up and he goes, hey, I need you to come out to like Orange. We're going to shoot this like post-apocalyptic thing called Survive. And so I went out there, and you and I got dressed up into this post-apocalyptic gear and like bulletproof vests and like, you know, like bows and arrows and shit, and like shot this fight scene. It was super cool.
minutes.
Dude, well, I had actually choreographed it the night before, and but you and I rehearsed it. No, dude, you and I had rehearsed it in like 5 minutes. Like we got together, we were just like, okay, it's this, and you were very proficient in martial arts. You're very proficient in martial arts, so you had dude. Both of us were just right on it. You know, we had no problem with it. So I'm gonna show everyone a little scene. Well, so this is the what I'm gonna show you is the acting reel, my acting reel, and some of that will actually have a scene from The Killer Inside, which Joel actually worked on as well. So, and then Tim is in it as well. Me and Tim have a gunfight in the middle of the acting reel. We did a little short film, home invasion kind of funny thing. So that's in there too. So it's real short. Let's go ahead and show a little video of you and myself getting into a little scuffle in like the year 3022 or whatever.
Something like that.
Let's do it. All right, here we go. Let's see. Where is it? All right, here we go.
Get that good ADR run. There it is.
After they died, I went to live with my aunt and my uncle. Fucking Uncle Red. What a prick.
Why are you telling me this?
Oh, fuck her. He used to tell me that, he used to tell me my parents died because of me. If you'd have got out of those chains, what would you have done?
Killed you?
You'd have failed. That was fun.
Bro.
That was super fun. So, So yeah, dude. So look at you, man. You got martial arts skills, you got makeup skills, acting skills, stunt man skills. You're on it, brother. I love it, dude.
Thank you.
I always like getting to hang out with you and see you, my brother. It's been a little too
It,
long, you
it has
know.
been way too long. I haven't seen you since like just before Christmas, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a little while, my man. It's been a little while, but I am glad to have you on tonight, and I'd like to have you on more often, my brother. You've been an amazing guest tonight. So
I would
if you'd like to come back, I'd like to have you. You know, a lot more often. Like I said, you've been an amazing guest, and I think what you've done is very interesting. I've had now I've had a couple people from film and television on the show, and I'm going to continue to have a couple more. And like I said, I look forward to having you back. And you, Joel, I really appreciate you, brother. I really do. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being able to join us this evening.
Thank you. And you've been an amazing host. I just want to say, like, seriously, thank you. Thank you for, I mean, hit me up and wanted me on the show. I would love to come back. And we need to do music too. We need to get on it. It's like,
I agree, my brother. Okay, well, look, check this out. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. You guys have been amazing. If you guys have any questions, you guys are more than welcome to just chime on in throughout the episodes. This show is every single Monday through Friday from at 6:30, you guys. 6:30, it goes anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, sometimes a little more. So join us every weekday, Monday through Friday at 6:30, you guys. So coming up on the listening room, tomorrow I'm going to have a guest to be announced. On Thursday, I have Mr. Kyle Romero from the Mind Tasting Podcast. He's going to be with me. And Friday, I'm going to have as my musical guest the always amazing Mr. Crumb is going to be with me on Friday in studio to either play some live tunes or just kind of sit with me and chat and go over some of the stuff on his last album, some of the stuff he's been working on a musical and a bunch of other stuff. So thanks a lot. Thanks so much to my guest. Thank you so much to my audience. Thank you all. I love you all. And I will see you next time on the listening room. Take care, you guys. Thanks for being a part of the listening room tonight. My name is Eddie Booze. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notifications, and give the video a like. We'll see you guys every Monday through Friday right here at 6:30. Take care.